Well, this is going to be a very gentle class, so we're not going to do anything crazy. We're not going to bring our foot over our head or anything like that, but it is going to be nice and gentle, but we're going to get quite a bit of flexibility today as well. Let's get started. One of the things that I do in my classes is I have these different decks of cards, and this deck of cards, I think it's maybe backwards, but it's Life Loves You is the name of the deck of the cards, and they're inspirational cards, and I like to start a lot of times my classes with something like that, just to get us kind of in a mood of something inspirational. So this card says, I release the need to control my life. So I want to say that again. I release the need to control my life. And the back of the card says, breathe in, breathe out, and let go of trying to control your life. And I picked this card specifically for this class because so much of what we have going on right now, we're trying to control because we're stressed out. And when we're stressed out, a lot of times what we try to do is control everything. And to be quite honest, we really can't control anything in our life. You know, if somebody would have told us in January that we would have been doing what we're doing right now, the situation that we're in, you wouldn't have believed it. So even though we think that we can control a lot of things in our life, there's actually a lot of things we can't control. And the best thing to do is to actually let that go, because it will help us to reduce stress in our body and our mind. And so this class is not just about flexibility, but it's also about releasing and reducing some of the stress that we have in our life as well. When we stretch our body, one of the things that it does is it actually releases the tension that we're building up. And a lot of times with stress, we have a tendency to hold stress in our shoulders. So sometimes we don't even know it, but we're kind of sitting like this. And so, you know, just rolling those shoulders back and down away from the ears can really help. And a lot of times too, we end up getting a lot of stress in the lower back as well. So we're going to work on those areas in particular today. So with that, let's get on our mat. And if getting down on a mat is really difficult for you, you can certainly do a lot of these exercises seated as well. But we're going to start in a seated position and sit any way that's comfortable for you. So you don't have to be cross-legged. You don't have to do anything, you know, major here. Just sit any way that's comfortable for you. And then what we're going to first do is work on the shoulders a little bit here. So bring your hands to your lap, and then roll the shoulders up towards the ears, and then roll the shoulders back and down. And just do that a few times, just to open up, create a little bit more space in the shoulder blades here. And you might hear and feel a few creaks and cracks. As long as there's no pain, you're fine. And then roll the shoulders back and down so they're away from the ears. And then let's take our right hand, place it on the right shoulder, and then do some nice big circles here. So think of making a big circle with the elbow, getting a nice full range of motion. We're warming things up, creating a little bit more space in that joint. And then let's move in the opposite direction. Again, there should be no pain when you do any of these exercises or movements. If you're feeling any pain, you want to back off of whatever movement you're doing. This is about releasing tension in the body. All right, and then the other side. So left hand on the shoulder and make some nice big circles here. And then bring the elbow down towards the mat and then go the other direction. All right. Now we're also going to loosen up the upper spine and the neck area here. So again, keep the shoulders down away from your ears. And then I simply want you to bring the chin down towards the chest. But don't push or pull. Simply allow the weight of your head to bring the chin forward and down. And you should feel a nice stretch in that upper spine, the neck, into the shoulders here. Simply allow the weight of your head to bring the chin forward. So again, you're not pushing or pulling. Don't fight it. Simply allow that opening to happen naturally. And then let's lift the chin so that now the chin is parallel to the floor. And then we'll move left to right. Keep the chin parallel to the floor as you gently move from side to side here. And when you come to each side, maybe just pause for a brief second and then move to the other side. Really helps to loosen up the neck and into your shoulders. And then the next time your chin comes over to the right, we're going to hold this. Take a breath in. And then bring the chin down towards the shoulder. And then sweep the chin across the chest and come up and over to the other side, bringing the chin parallel to the floor. And then we'll hold this on the left side. And then again, bring the chin down towards the shoulder and then sweep the chin across the chest and over to the right side. And then come back through center and then again, bring the chin down towards the chest. Keep the shoulders down away from the ears. Simply allow your head to hang. And then let's lift the chin again. So now that we've got a little bit of the tension maybe released in the upper spine area into the shoulders, we're going to do a little bit of breath work here. So in yoga language, this is sometimes called pranayama. You don't have to remember that. Prana just is a word for breath. It sometimes actually means energy as well. And so we're going to do a little bit of breath work because using your breath can really help with the stress that we're feeling in our bodies. And this is a really easy type of breath technique that you can use. So we're going to take a nice deep, full, long, slow breath in through the nose. And then hold briefly at the top of that inhalation. And then I want you to exhale with a sigh. When you do that, I want you to just really relax and release and let go of anything. Drop yourself down into either your chair or your mat. And we're going to do this a few more times. So take a nice, slow, long, deep breath in through the nose. Fill the lungs, hold at the top, and then exhale with a sigh. Let go. Allow yourself to drop down onto your seat. And then let's do it 2 more times. So a deep, full, long, slow breath in. Hold briefly at the top. Exhale with a sigh. And one more time. Deep, slow breath in. Hold at the top. Exhale with a sigh. So that's one breath technique that, is very easy to do. To be quite honest, the sigh is actually also a mental release that happens. When we hear that sound of the sigh, it actually helps us to release and let go of tension in our body. So very, very easy breath work to do. So from here, if you can get down on the floor, let's get down on the floor if you're not already. And we're going to come to our backs. And we're going to do a little bit of stretching in the legs. So to do this, make sure that you start with your feet on the mat and your knees are bent. And you're going to extend the right leg out. But keep that left leg bent. This protects the lower back when we do these exercises. If you want a little bit more stretch in the torso, if you bring the arms up overhead, you're also stretching in the shoulders and your chest area here. And then what you're going to do is just gently bring the foot up towards the ceiling. We're not flexing the foot, we're not pointing the foot. The foot is just relaxed here. And you want just a little bit of a bend in the knee. So you don't want to lock the foot out, but you don't want a lot of bend in the knee either. So when you bring that foot up, you're keeping the leg fairly straight, and you only come up until you start to feel a little bit of a stretch in the back of the leg. And then we're going to bring that leg back down to the mat. And we're going to do this several times. So you just bring the leg up and then back down. And what we're doing here is we're warming up the hip into the lower back. So we're isolating the right hip and creating just a little bit of flexibility in the back of that leg. You want to feel a stretch, but again, you should not feel any pain while you do this exercise. Don't force anything here. Just nice, gentle stretch as you come up and back down. And then we're going to bring that foot to the mat, and then we're going to extend the left leg out towards the mat. And we're going to do that same thing on this side. So we bring the foot up and then back down. And again, isolate that hip and feel a nice stretch in the back of the leg, keeping the leg fairly straight. But we're not locking the leg out, nor when we come up do we want to bend that knee. We want to keep the leg fairly straight. We're warming up the hip, we're warming up the back of the legs here. And then let's bring that left foot to the mat. And then bring the feet out so that they're about the same width as your mat. Keep both shoulders on the mat, and I want you to bring the knees down to one side. They don't have to touch the floor. Just so, again, you feel a nice stretch, but make sure that that right shoulder stays on the mat. So if your shoulder starts coming up, you went too far with your legs. So bring the legs back up until that shoulder meets the mat again. And just hold this for a few breaths. And notice your breath here as you breathe in and out. You're breathing in and out through the nose. And the next time you inhale, lift the knees up through center, and then let's take the knees down to the right side. And again, keep that left shoulder on the mat. So you're only coming as far as what's appropriate for you to keep that both shoulders on the mat here. You're basically twisting very gently in the middle of your spine, which is the thoracic area of your spine, down into the lumbar, which is the lower area of your spine, into the hips. Let's bring the knees back up through center. We're going to do that one more time on each side. So you bring the knees down to the left, keep that right shoulder on the mat. If your arms are up overhead, you're going to feel that nice stretch all the way on that right side of the body. And then bring the knees up through center, and then do the same thing on the left or on the right side. And then come up through center. And now bring the knees up into the chest area. You can either hold on to the knees, the shins, or if you want, you can bring the hands behind the legs as well. And your feet are relaxed, the legs are relaxed, everything's relaxed here. If you want, you can move a little bit from side to side. And then we're going to bring the feet straight up towards the ceiling and point and flex your feet. So when we do this exercise here, you're working the immune system. This is very good for the lymph fluid that runs through your body. So this is very good for the immune system. It's also very good for the circulatory system. Think of this as almost like a pumping action, right? We're pumping the blood, we're pumping the lymph fluid through our bodies. It's also very good. You'll feel a nice stretch in the back of the legs, the ankles. All right, and then bring the feet back to the mat. Now what we're going to do is cross the right leg over the left. Start bringing that left leg up, and you're going to take your hands and interlace them behind the knee. So if I'm this way, you can maybe see this a little bit better. I have my hands, this right hand goes in between the legs. And we're going to hold this for a few breaths here. This is very good for the lower back. It's one of the best exercises. If you have any lower back issues, this is like the best exercise you can possibly do for your lower back. Just very, very good for sciatica and other types of issues in the lower back here. This left leg does not have to be up if you want the leg down. If that feels better for you, you can do that. Totally up to you. Just feeling a nice stretch here. Might feel a little bit in that right thigh and the hip area. Again, you should feel no pain when you're in this. So if you're feeling any pain, you want to back off of that. And then release that, bring both feet to the mat, and then cross the left foot over the right. And then we'll do that same thing on this side. And as you're in this posture here, this is actually called sleeping pigeon. So you want to breathe in and out through the nose. And think of relaxing here. Relax your body. There's no fighting with your body. You can let go of any tension with your exhalation. And then releasing that side. All right, and then we're going to sit up. All right, and then we're going to do a little bit more stretching here. So we're going to leave the left knee bent, and we're going to extend the right leg out. And the first thing you're going to do is bring that left hand to the left knee and bring the right arm up overhead. And then I want you to just bend into this. So we're opening up this whole right side of our body here. And then come out of that. And then bring that right hand to the mat. Press gently into the mat. And then bring the right arm up and bend into that. So think of stacking the shoulders when you come into this and your back is nice and flat. So if you come into this and you're doing more like this, I want you to come out of it and think of stacking the shoulders so they're right on top of each other. And then bring that hand down. And then we're going to switch legs here. So bend the right knee, bring the right hand to that knee and bring that left arm up and then bend into that. Again, think of stacking the shoulders here. So if you're coming forward, think of bringing that back nice and flat, like it's against the wall. And then bring that hand down and bring the palm so it's gently pressing into the mat. And then lift that right arm up. Again, stack the shoulders here. And then come back up. We're going to leave this knee bent and now bring both arms up overhead. And then I want you to turn towards that bent knee so to be to your right. And bring the hands down. The right hand is going to be on the floor here, and roll that shoulder back and down, and then your left hand is on the knee. You're sitting up nice and tall. Think of the chin being parallel to the floor and the crown of the head moving up towards the ceiling. A nice gentle twist here. Again, no forcing, so you don't want to force anything. You don't want to fight against your body. It's a nice gentle twist. And then gently release that, and then again, bend that other knee, your left knee, and bring the arms up overhead. And then turn towards the left, bring the hands down. That left hand is behind you. Again, think of rolling the shoulders back and down. That right hand is on the knee. The chin is parallel to the floor. You're sitting up nice and tall. We're breathing in and out very naturally through the nose. Maybe close down the eyes here. Relax. And then releasing that. All right. Now we're going to bring both legs out to a pretty wide stance, but it should feel comfortable. So don't try to force anything here. Just come out as to a comfortable width with your feet. And the feet are relaxed, so we're not flexing the feet here. Keep the feet nice and relaxed. Bring your hands to the middle here in between the legs, and then start to walk the hands out. But I want you to keep your back flat. So I don't want you to curve the spine. When you walk out, I want you to keep that back flat. You might be surprised. It's really not about how far you can go into your stretch as much as how it feels. So what you want to feel here, the sensation is in the lower back, you want to feel a little bit of a stretch. And the back of the legs, you want a little bit of a stretch. And that's it. You don't want any pain here. You want to keep that back nice and flat. If you want, you can relax the head and the neck here. And keep that back flat. No curvature in the spine. Relax here. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Yoga is actually about stilling the mind, focusing and concentrating, especially on that breath. And if other thoughts come into your mind as you hold this stretch, maybe say to yourself, each time you breathe in, say, I am breathing in. And each time you breathe out, say, I am breathing out. And that'll give your mind something to do as you relax your body here. Focus on your breath, not controlling the breath. Simply watching your body breathe. And then if you drop your head and your neck, just bring the head back up so that the head and the neck are in alignment with the rest of your spine. You've got a nice flat back here. And then slowly rise on up. All right. We're going to bend both knees and bring our feet in so that the soles of our feet are together. This is sometimes called a seated butterfly because our legs look like butterfly wings. And if your knees are way up here and they don't seem to come down to the mat, that's fine. Just do the best you can. Remember, there's no competition here, no judgment or anything like that. So we're sitting up nice and tall. We're going to bend forward, but again, when we bend forward, I want you to keep that back flat. So think of bending in the hip creases here, okay? So again, if I sit this way, you can maybe see my back is nice and flat. Again, it doesn't matter how, it's not a competition to see how far and deep you can go. It's the sensation that you're looking for here. You want to feel a nice stretch again in the lower back, and you'll probably feel it in your groin in the inner thigh. And then again, you can relax your head and neck here. And focus on your breath as you hold this. And as you hold this, relax your body. See if you can almost like melt into that pose. Notice your breath. Watch your breath come in and out. When we still the body, we begin to still the mind. And then if we brought our head down again, bring the head so it's in alignment with the rest of your spine with that nice flat back rise on up. Okay. We're going to stand up, and we're going to do a few standing exercises here. So I'm going to actually move my mat back a bit so that I'm still on the camera here. All right, so from here, let's go into a wide stance. So you're coming sideways on your mat here and come to a wide stance. And again, it's not a competition. So if you do not feel comfortable, way wide, do what's comfortable for you here. You want to have your feet right now parallel to each other. We're going to go into a forward fold. That's a wide-legged forward fold. So bend the knees a little bit here. And when we come into this, again, come down with a flat back. So we're bending at the hip creases, keeping the back flat as we come into this. And only come as far as what's appropriate for you. You can use your hands here to give yourself a little bit of support. Just come as far as what's appropriate for you. And then relax your head and your neck. Maybe move the head a little bit here from side to side. Relax your shoulders, the arms. Don't be afraid to bend those knees. When you bend your knees in a forward fold, you're actually protecting the lower back. You always want to protect that lower back. We don't want to injure ourselves. Now to come out of this, we want to come to a flat back. Bring the hands to your hips. And then with a flat back, rise on up. All right. Now I'm going to teach you how to do a forward fold with our feet close together. So this is probably the most, one of the poses in yoga that's done incorrectly the most. So your feet are fairly close together. They don't have to be touching, but fairly close together. And what I see a lot of people do is bending this way. And again, they're curving the spine. And you don't want to curve your spine. You want to have a flat back. So here's what we do in our forward fold. First of all, we bend the knees slightly. And then when we bend our knees, there's this little crease here. I'm going to come forward so you can see this. When I bend my knee, there's a crease right at the hip. This is called your hip crease. So right there is where you actually want to fold. So it's very low. It is not at your waist. You're not doing this. You're keeping that back flat. And you see how my knees are bent, and I'm bending at the hip crease. So let's all stand up nice and tall. I'm going to bring my camera up a little bit here. So let's stand up nice and tall, bring our feet fairly close together. And then as you bend the knees first, bend in the hip creases, keep the back flat as you come down. And don't be afraid to bend those knees. And then relax your head and neck. Relax the arms. Bring the arms down towards the mat. They don't have to touch the mat. The more you bend your knees, the more you can get the torso in alignment and touching the thighs. They don't have to touch the thighs, but if you've got a little bit more flexibility, you might be able to touch the thighs here with your chest area. And then just hold this for a few breaths. We're breathing in and out through the nose. And then if you feel like you can do a little bit more stretch, then bring the tailbone up towards the ceiling, bringing the crown of the head down towards the mat. And you'll feel more of a stretch in the back of the legs. And then to come out of it, we always bend our knees and we come up with a flat back. So bring your hands to the hips right now so that you can come back up. And that's the best way to do a forward fold. So again, don't bend and do that curvature in the spine. Keep the back flat and bending the knees when you go into that. Like I said, that's probably one of the poses in yoga. We do it a lot when we go into a yoga practice. We do a lot of forward folds, and it's probably the pose that's done incorrectly the most in our practice. So with that, let's do that one more time. So we bring the feet fairly close together, stand up nice and tall, and then bend the knees first, and then keep the back flat and bend at the hip creases. And again, only come as far as what's appropriate for you. You can have your hands here on your shins or even the thighs if that's all the farther it works for you. If you've got a little bit more flexibility, then you can come down and you can probably touch the floor here with your hand. And relax your head. So think of the crown of the head coming down towards your mat. Relax the head, the neck, your shoulders, the arms. And breathe in, breathe out here. Relax. And then come halfway up to that flat back, bring your hands to your hips, and then rise on up. All right, okay. So we're gonna come down to our mats again. And let's come to our back. And bring the knees up into the chest. Rock here a little bit from side to side. Loosen up that lower back a little bit. And then this time when we bring our feet to the mat, we're going to bring our feet so that, again, they're way off the mat. So bring the feet so they're way off the mat. And then keep your left knee pointing straight up towards the ceiling. And what I want you to do is start to bring that right knee down towards the middle of the mat. And then raise the arms up overhead. You're going to feel that nice stretch all the way down the right side of the body. Again, don't force anything here. Try to keep that left knee pointing straight up. So if it starts going out to the side, see if you can bring that knee up. And bring your other knee down towards the mat. It doesn't have to touch the mat. It's very good for the quadricep, the front of your thigh. And then slowly, gently bringing that right knee back up. And then keep that right knee pointing straight up towards the ceiling. And now start to bring that left knee down towards the middle of the mat. Relax here in this. Use your breath. Breathe in, breathe out. And then gently start to bring that knee back up. And then again, bring both knees in towards the chest. The last pose that we do in our yoga practice is called Shavasana. You may be familiar with this if you've ever done yoga before. For Shavasana, what I like to do is have my legs out to a pretty wide stance. And I like pointing my toes out away from me. So I really open up the hips here. And then my arms are out to the side in like a V with my palms up. Roll those shoulders back and down, away from the ears. Close down the eyes. So you want to totally relax here. And we're going to begin our Shavasana with a nice deep breath in. And then exhale with a sigh. Again, nice deep breath in. And then exhale with a sigh. Let's do that one more time. Deep breath in. And exhale. All right. Start to relax your toes. The feet, the ankles. Relax the calves, the knees, the thighs, the hips. Moving up the body. On your next exhalation, releasing any tension in the lower back, the middle back, and upper back. Relax the shoulders, your arms and hands, fingers. As you exhale, releasing any tension in the neck, in your head, in your face. Feel the whole back side of your body sinking down into your mat and letting go. There's nothing to do. Just be with your breath in the present moment. And allow gravity to do the work for you. Relax your face. Relax your forehead, the brows, the cheeks, the jaw. Allow your eyes to drop down into their eye sockets. Relax your mouth. Even your throat is relaxed. Totally relax the body. We're going to be in our Shavasana for 2 more minutes. Quiet the body, quiet the mind. Become aware of a thought. Simply return your attention back to your breath. Notice the breath coming in and out.
Now gently begin to deepen your breath slightly. As you breathe in and out, feel that sensation of that breath coming in. Notice the chest rising on the inhalation. Notice the chest falling on the exhalation. Notice any other subtle sensations in the body. Maybe the belly rising and falling. And then gently begin to wiggle your toes and your fingers. Becoming aware of the different sensations in your body. And then start to move your body any way that feels natural for you. You can't do this wrong. Think of maybe when you wake up in the morning, how you stretch your body. Keeping your eyes closed. And then eventually move yourself over to your right side. So you're in a fetal position here on your right side with the eyes closed. And feel the stillness, the inner peace, calmness that you've cultivated from your practice today. Mind probably feels a little bit calmer. Body maybe feels a little bit more open. Less tension in the body. Thank yourself for meeting me on the mat today. Doing something for you, your health, your well-being, mind, body, and spirit. And with your eyes remaining closed, you can gently bring yourself up into a seated position. Take your time, no rush. And once you're in a seated position, keeping those shoulders down away from the ears, let's bring the chin back down towards the chest. And simply allow our heads to hang. Feel that nice stretch in the upper spine, the neck, the shoulders. And then do some nice neck and head rolls here. So moving in one direction, maybe think of making a big circle with the nose. Again, there should be no pain when you do this, so you want to back off if you're feeling any pain. If you're feeling any tension as you do this, maybe stopping where you're feeling that little bit of tension. And then just make a few little micro movements here. See if you can loosen up that tension. And then the next time your chin comes down towards the chest, go in the opposite direction. Might feel a little bit different. You might feel another area that's a little bit tight, a little bit of tension. So again, maybe stopping there, making a few little micro movements. Just see if you can iron some of that out, stretch some of that out. And then the next time the chin comes down towards the chest, again, allow your head to hang, not forcing anything here. And then we bring the hands together. We'll bring our hands into our heart center. Traditionally in our yoga practice, we end our practice with namaste. It means I honor the light in you. So we say namaste to each other, honoring the light in each of us. So thank you so much for coming and learning a little bit about yoga if you're not familiar with it. And I hope you feel a little bit more stretched out, a little bit more open. I hope you maybe released a little bit of stress. Thank you so much for coming today, and enjoy the rest of your day wherever you are. Namaste.